So I want to begin by telling you a story about myself and how this has only happened once or twice. But the fact is that this has happened multiple times in my life. I would say pretty much every week since I've started being aware of myself. So since I've started being on self-improvement. But I've noticed this every week. It happens at least once. So I'm going to give you a general example. Let me know if this sounds familiar. I've got an amazing, perfect military morning routine in place. I wake up at say 6 a.m. I get straight to my 1 or 2 hours of deep work. I go and have breakfast. I have literally the exact same breakfast every day. I have breakfast. I have my leftover uni tasks. I do that. And then I have like all of these tasks lined up. Very rigid. I have my university. I have my gym. I have literally everything lined up perfectly to the hour, to the minute. And everything is firm and rigid. But all of a sudden now, it's Thursday night. I've been following this routine from Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday morning. Thursday night comes up. And I realize that I'm actually invited to someone's house, like a family gathering or something. And they've invited me at 8 p.m. Now I go to bed at, say, 10 p.m. So this is going to be a little problematic, isn't it, for my perfect, amazing morning routine. So when I end up going there, I'm just sitting there and having dinner at 10 p.m. And that's when I realize that I'm not going to be able to hit my morning routine the next day. Because when I get back at 11:30 p.m., I realize I have two choices. I can either be sleep deprived tomorrow and still work on the same routine and be unproductive, but at least I woke up at the right time, at least I did all this. Or I sleep in and my routine crumbles because I have no backup plan. I literally just have that one routine. And the moment that something goes wrong, that's it. Everything crumbles. And so that's exactly my point. Our lives are not always predictable. We are always going to have something that gets in the way. And don't get me wrong, I'm really happy that you, as well as me, have like this really good idea of a morning routine. We know that we want to wake up and work on our deep work. We've already seen all this content online. We've read the books. We've listened to the podcast, the Andrew Huberman podcast. We know the benefits of good sleep. We know the benefits of morning sunlight. But we are missing one very crucial factor. Our routines need to be adaptable. You must build something called a flexible routine, or I would rather call it an adaptable routine, because nowadays flexibility is just mistaken for laziness or work at home. Like this whole culture is associated with the word flexibility. So I'm going to call it an adaptable morning routine. This adaptable morning routine is one that can actually accommodate unexpected events that will happen, no doubt, every single week. They will happen. You'll either want to meet your friends, you'll either be invited somewhere, etc. There's just so many things that could happen. And you can't expect to have that perfect morning routine every day where you're going to bed at the exact same minute every day, you're waking up at the exact same minute, you're running to the sun to get your optimal morning angle sunlight and increase your cortisol to the right level and make sure that your testosterone level, like, you just can't have that every single day. And you need to let go of that idea that that's just your life. Because the only person that actually has that sort of life is someone who is isolated from society. And I promise you, you don't want to be that guy. Okay, so now when you actually have a problem like this, an unexpected family event or like a friend's event or something, I don't want your routine to crumble like a house of straws. So, as always, I present a problem in my videos and I also want to present the solution. Now, the solution for this requires one pre-step. Now, that pre-step to this solution is something that I've only realized recently, and I'm still working on it, still really struggling to fix this, but I'm making a huge amount of progress. And that is to let go completely of this idea that routines have to be strict and unbending. Routines need to be able to accommodate unexpected events. You need to have backup plans, and I'm going to show you exactly how. Now, solution one. This solution is quite simple, and honestly, this is one that I would rather prefer to use. And that is to prioritize tasks in order of importance in your calendar. Now, what I mean by that, So I'm assuming you have one or two tasks that are extremely important, and then a few tasks that are important but they don't require as much energy as those first few tasks require. And then you have like leftover tasks that pretty much can be done at, any time. You don't need a lot of energy for them. Now, what I want you to do is, whether you wake up on time or whether you wake up later than your desired time, I want you to wake up and do that hardest task first. This is a concept that you would have heard of before, but it's extremely important. In fact, as I'm writing the script for this video right now, that was exactly what I'm doing. I actually woke up completely at the wrong time because of Ramadan. My routine is completely off. But I was able to do the task that required the most effort first thing. Now, solution 2 is something that you might find appealing, but personally I don't really do because it's a little, again, it falls into that rigidness thing. But it still works for many people, I'm sure. And that's to have a contingency or a backup plan. Now, what I mean by that is, you have your normal tasks set out in your calendar, but now I want you to have alternate tasks. That means you have your normal tasks as shown up here, and then you have alternate tasks, meaning the exact same thing at a different time with the label alt. Pretty simple. That's if your routine, like say you sleep in by 2 hours, then you work by that alternate calendar. Again, it's not something I put into practice. Even the images I just showed you were not real. Like, those aren't what I actually use. But it's an example of what you could do. Overall, I do want to say that this is a long process, and you will continue to adjust your routine as you go on. I'm continually adjusting my routine, and I've been using a calendar for quite some time. But it's completely normal. It's expected. That's really important. That's why I mentioned it as a pre-step, that you need to let go of the idea that your routine needs to be strict and unbending. It will have to adapt. You will have to adjust. And there's nothing wrong with that. I hope that you've learned something from this video and that you will increase your productivity within the next week by a huge amount. Now, if you want to be surrounded by like-minded, productive men who are working on their true purpose, which I'll explain in other videos as well, I want you to straight away go down to that link in the description and just join the Discord. Everything is free. There's literally nothing to lose and everything to gain. So again, I hope you found this video useful, and I will see you in the next one.